Hello and welcome to Competitive Crunch. My name is Spade and today I got more news from Smogon underused beta front, as the ability Drought and the Pokemon Deoxys Speed, Mega Heracross and Thundurus-Therian are banned from UU beta to BL. And something to keep in mind here again is that this is underused beta, not the official tier, and certainly not Generation 5 UU. This is a whole separate entity and this is still not the official thing. And with these somewhat hasty decisions, we will hopefully be able to get first a somewhat balanced UU beta, and from there Smogon is going to be able to create their official UU tier. And everything will be retested in the future. So on that note, you don't even need to worry. So don't blow a gasket, because everything will be retested again in the future. But starting off with the Drought, I think something we can all agree here, that all these things, because we got an ability, we got a Mega Stone and then 2 Pokemon, all these things were highly controversial in the UU beta tier. Even if you didn't think they should actually get the ban hammer, you kind of still know why they did, because they are controversial Pokemon and things, abilities and Mega Stone, regardless. So starting with that Drought again, definitely there was some talk that poor Vulpix never even got a chance to be tried out in the UU beta tier, because obviously everybody was just abusing Ninetales. But what I think is that definitely the weather summoning ability, even though people kind of say that it's just the same as using sunny day because you don't have permanent weather, but still a weather summoning ability is just so much more convenient than actually wasting a move slot for like sunny day or rain dance. And then not to mention you gotta waste a turn to actually use that move and actually give your opponent a chance to attack or set up. So on that note, having a weather summoning ability is a lot more convenient than actually having that move like manually weather summoning move like sunny day or rain dance. And especially since during the last bans, Drizzle got banned. That obviously turned people's attention to Drought, because literally the rainy clouds turned away, and then the sun had more room in the tier, and people obviously from rain turned into sun. And even though under the sun there are not as many Pokemon that can abuse the weather, sun is not really as versatile as rain is, but you still have your chlorophyll users and your powerhouses such as Victini and Darmanitan spamming Recreate and Flare Blitz respectively. You still have all those Pokemon taking advantage of it, and again, because Drizzle got banned, the Drought actually now has more attention, and it can be used more freely, because you don't need to worry about the other common offensively abused weather, rain. So that's why Drought got the ban hammer. Now, of course, in the future, like, they could be potentially testing if Vulpix could still be used in the UU tier, but still, even Vulpix, it can be just switched out and bring out the weather, and it's simply just, it's better for momentum, and it is much more convenient, and you have so much more freedom. Because like let's say you're in a situation like up against something like Garchomp locked into Outrage, and then you bring out like your let's say Ludicolo, and then you just die to an Outrage. And then you bring out your Kingdra and then you die to an Outrage. Instead of just bringing out Politoed to set up automatically the weather, then you die to an Outrage, but then you actually have Kingdra in your back with that Swift Swim. And because in the first place you never got a chance to set up the weather, now you can just automatically set it up. And that's why it's just on many occasions just so much more convenient to have a weather summoning ability, and that's why it's still a lot better as opposed to setting up your manual weather. And that's why I do still feel like Smogon here, even though this is a beta decision, I believe, in my opinion, they made the right choice in banning the Drought. I guess still, if we want to nitpick, they could have just banned the Pokemon to, you know, the Pokemon themselves to BL. But as they are making more of these weather inducing ability bans, you know, they're staying consistent with their bans. So I think it's the best move for the metagame. It is best for the metagame. And then we move on to Deoxys Speed, and I actually got the Pokédex entry here. And I think the ban of Deoxys Speed is a no-brainer to anyone. If you have been playing the UU beta, you have been seeing Deoxys Speed a lot, and it's always setting up hazards, and if you take your time to scout it, it just it might just destroy you with one of its potential coverage moves. And, you know, again, there's even talks about banning Deoxys Speed from the metagame entirely into the Ubers, so I don't think this Pokemon was healthy for the UU beta metagame by any means. It has the sweeping potential, it does have respectable offensive capabilities, not to mention all the support moves it can do besides, you know, its spikes and stealth rocks. You know, you got taunt and you got magic coach, and you got a bunch of options, and if you want to go offensive, you even have a boosting move in the form of a nasty plot now, so even that's a thing. And you have the mixed offensive moves that can destroy most things that could try to stop you from setting up entry assets. It's just so easy to set up entry assets, and you can stop all those things that would try to stop you from setting up hazards too. So there is that. Definitely a right move to ban Deoxys Speed to the BL, and most likely people will now just be using more Deoxys Defense, but you know, it's the speed with Deoxys Speed, obviously. It lives in its own speed tier, and you know, it is offensively still, you know, better than Deoxys Defense too, so there's that. But definitely a right move to ban Deoxys Speed. And I guess we can argue about Deoxys Defense more, but since nothing is done to it at the moment, let's not do that, and we can talk about Deoxys Defense later on in the future. And then the item Heracronite, so Mega Heracross is banned to BL, and I really liked using this thing in the UU beta, and I do kind of agree that it should get banned, and now it did, and I'm definitely glad. And unfortunately, I never really got to use this thing at its full potential as a dangerous wall breaker, because I was just kind of abusing it with smash and pass, and it just always killed everything. It didn't need to worry about anything. It has all the awesome coverage moves. You can even run like arm thrust. I was running arm thrust because I didn't really like close combat defense drops, because it does have the increased bulk, which was really nice for it, and it made kind of easy to smash and pass into it because you have the increased bulk. So that was really awesome. Of course, you know, smash and pass, nothing to do with it, but just look at this massive attack, and then you look at the Pokemon in the UU beta tier at the moment. Nothing can really switch into this thing. Nothing. And you got Bullet Seed, you got Close Combat, or even Arm Thrust, or whatever you want to be using as your fighting type move. And then you got Rock Blast, then you got the Pin Missile too, all boosted up with the Skill Link. And then I guess you could even run like Earthquake for coverage if you want to slice that in. And with that, you're pretty much good to go. And especially like with Rock Blast and Earthquake, you have the solid neutral coverage, and with the massive 185 base attack, at max it reaches out 515. Holy crap. Enough to kind of destroy the world 6 times over, including everything in the UU beta. So kind of glad that this thing is gone, because it's in the end incredibly difficult to switch into. Really hard to counter because it has all the awesome moves, and every move that it gets, all the good moves that it does have, it gets boosted by the skill link too. So that's a pretty awesome thing for Mega Heracross. The only downside to it is the speed, but still, when you think about countering it, it's difficult, because with this attack, nothing is really switching into it. So kind of just too much for the underused beta, and I cannot disagree on this ban. And then we got Thundurus-Therian, the last but not least, certainly. The only reason this Pokemon is in the UU beta is because everybody is focusing their attention on the Thundurus on the OU tier, because obviously Thundurus is the faster one, and you know, speed is kind of everything. And last generation Thundurus got the ban hammer, so now that people have a chance to use it again in OU, they do that, and they are simply not using Thundurus-Therian. That's why it dropped down to the UU beta, and still Thundurus, like its regular form, it does have multitude of options to kind of, well, destroy the tier, the UU beta tier at least. And while it may not have the speed, it still has a way to boost up its speed with like Choice Scarf, and then it has the boosting move Agility, and then it still has Nasty Blot. To boost up is it's already massive 145 special attack, and not to mention it still has the option to go mixed, because you got moves like you even got knockoff, and then you got superpower, and you got even U-turn. So if you think about something like Celebi trying to wall this Thundurus-Therian, think again, because it may just be carrying U-turn, and it's not, honestly, U-turn on Thundurus is not a bad move at all, because it eases your prediction, because you don't have to predict, because if you're using like a Scarf set with Volt Switch, certainly it brings more power, but you need to always predict around those common ground types. But with U-turn, you can just have it for the momentum, and you don't need to worry about the ground types or anything, because nothing, as far as I know, is immune to U-turn, to bug type moves in general. So it may be the better move for gaining that momentum, even though it doesn't hit as hard. But Thundurus-Therian still has respectable 105 attack, so it can go mixed. And if something like Chansey tries to come in, you can just knock off its item, so there's that option too. But honestly, I don't think Thundurus really reached its full potential in the UU beta tier, but certainly thinking about what it did the last gen, it was a solid OU-mon, and it just didn't, you know, like I said, it's not being used simply because of Thundurus. And looking at it in the UU beta, I definitely see it kind of overpowered, because you still have the possibility to go mixed, to screw over your potential counters and checks, and then you still have the awesome special move pool with like Thunderbolt and Volt Switch and Grass Knot, Focus Blast, and then I guess Hidden Power Ice. It got nerfed, but Thundurus-Therian can still abuse it with its massive special attack. And then you have the boosting moves such as Nasty Blot and Agility. So enough for Thundurus to kind of wreak havoc in the UU beta tier, and not really a surprise to see this thing gone. I'm not really entirely certain like what exactly could counter it in the UU beta tier. So you know, usually it is a special attacker, so on that note you can usually rely on your special walls to deal with it. But as I said, it still has the option to go mixed and you know, destroy those quote-unquote counters. So you know, there is that. Like I said, Chansey can get its item knocked out and can get destroyed by superpower. Celebi can get destroyed by like U-turn, and I guess the same. Well, I think Latias is a pretty solid way to deal with it, because it doesn't take too much from like potential U-turn. I guess knockoff would kind of hurt it, but on the special side it doesn't worry about Hidden Power Ice. But is Latias alone like enough to really stop Thundurus-Therian? Probably not, so there is that. But then again, I haven't really been playing UU beta too much, but honestly, the time that I've been spending playing it, you know, Thundurus has been just really good, really good. So not really surprised to see it gone. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you could mention some solid counters for all these things in the UU beta tier, definitely let me know, and we can talk about that in the comment section below. But now these are the UU beta bans, and again, they will be retested in the future, because the metagame keeps on developing, and maybe if something drastic changes, maybe some of these Pokemon could actually return to the official UU tier in the future. But you know, that's for the future to decide what is going to happen. We will never know until it does happen, and now I'm just rambling and not really knowing what to say and how to end this. but just saying that the metagame develops, and there might be some ways to deal with the Pokemon as you couldn't in the highly unbalanced UU beta. But these are all these somewhat hasty decisions are done for the best to be best for the metagame, for the future metagame, and for the official UU tier, which I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm looking forward to all the tiers, and especially RU in the future. I like that a lot in the last generation. But anyways, indeed now I'm rambling a lot, so I will conclude this episode, and thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts of these bans in the UU beta tier, and I will check you guys next time. Until then, this is Spade, signing and rambling out. Peace!